In the earlier part, we have seen about the formation, function, meaning, necessity of the political parties. Now we'll see the challenges of the political party. What are the challenges faced by the political parties? We'll see. The political parties are very important to run the democracy because without political parties, the democracy cannot be there. For representative democracy, the political parties are needed. Which parties are very important part of democracy? What challenges they are facing? We will see here one by one. The first challenge is faced by the all political parties, the lack of internal democracy. The political parties are very important part of the democracy, but itself these parties are not following the democracy. All over the world, this is the tendency in political parties towards the concentration of power in one or few leaders of the top. It is not happening only in the India. Throughout the world, it happen. It is happening. The power remains. The decision-making power remains in a few hands of the leaders of a particular party. The higher-ups always dominating. Some leaders always dominating in the party. This is one which says there is a lack of internal democracy. Another is here, parties do not keep membership registers. How many members are there? Which members are there? That register should be maintained by the political parties, but it is not maintained. Do not hold organizational meetings. It is compulsory to the all parties. One general meeting should be taken every year, but these parties are not taking. So here again, it supports there is a lack of internal democracy. And do not conduct regular elections. To choose the higher leaders of a political parties, the chairperson or another dignitaries. The internal elections are needing, but there is no any conduction of internal election in any party. It is not about one party, it is about all parties and throughout the world. So it claims there the political parties have lack of internal democracy. Ordinary members of the party do not get sufficient information on what happens inside the party. An ordinary person, member who works for the party, always not having the complete information, sufficient information about party and party policies. So no transparency among the leaders and the active members of the party or the supporters of the party. They do not have the means or the connection needed to influence the decision. The ordinary member of the party is not having that influence in the party which affects on the decision. The decision is taken by only the higher ups or the higher up high chair leaders. As a result, the leaders assume greater power to make decision. So it is resulting the leaders are taking all powers, all decisions in the name of party. They are saying this is the party decision. It is we are not taking own decision. The party and decision is taken by the party. But in reality, the decision was taken by a particular person. The interest of a particular leader is secured through that decision, but they are imposing on the others. It is the decision taken by the party. In the name of party, they are imposing the interest of a particular leader. Since one or few leaders exercise paramount power, paramount, complete power, monopoly. Those who disagree with the leadership find it very difficult to remain this party. More than the loyalty to the party principles and policies, personal loyalty to the leader becomes more important. The supporters, or active members' loyalty should be to the party or the party principles. But here what happens? Due to the dominance of the leaders, the loyalty to the leader becomes more important than the loyalty to the party. This is the first challenge which is faced by the all political parties in the world. I hope you are understanding. Now we'll move toward the next, the dynastic succession. This is related to the earlier. These both are interrelated. Dynastic succession means the main positions of the party remains in a same family only. In the earlier, maybe the grandparent, then parent, now. So generation by generation, the higher positions remain in a same family. That is called dynastic succession. Dynastic family. A particular family's uh, dominance remains here. The second challenge of dynastic succession is related to the first one. Since most political parties do not practice open and transparent procedure for their functioning, there are very few ways for an ordinary workers to rise up to the top in the party. With the earlier point we have seen, for the active member or for the supporter, the decisions which are imposed by the higher ups are only to follow. There are no chances for an active member or a supporter to become a dominant leader in the party. He remains only to work at the local level or at the bottom level. Ordinary workers to rise to the top in a party. There are very less chances to rise up to the top in the party. Those who happen to be the leader are in the position of unfair advantages to favor people close to them or even their family members. Those who remains in the position, they always give favor to their family members only or the close relatives only. The higher position people will never think about the bottom person of that party to get him or her at the top level of the party. He will always think brother, sister, maybe daughter, son, or any other close relative. Only the positions remains only that particular level only. To everyone, it's not get to every supporter or to every active member, there is no chance to become at the higher position. This is the family succession, dynastic succession. In many parties, the top positions are always controlled by members of one family. It happens, and you have experience also. The higher position, the top positions are always controlled by members of one family. This is unfair to other members of that party. Many people suffers there, leads their complete life, spends their complete life for the party's development. But who gives his own life for the party, for him there is no chance to come at the top position. But a person who remains away from the party, but he is a successor of the same family, who is using the top position of the family, immediately he gets the position when he enters in the politics. I hope you are understanding what I want to say. This is also bad for a democracy because this is the democracy. In a democracy, the dynastic succession is not allowed. Individual equality is allowed or respect is needed in the democracy, but it is not respected in the party positions. Since people who do not have adequate experience or popular support come to occupy position of power, just as I said, a person who remains away from the political party or the politics, but he is having background of political families, higher ups, then whenever he will enter, immediately he will get the position. And the person who is leading his complete life, he will not get any position. This tendency is present in some measures all over the world, including in some of older democracies. Everywhere it happens. These are the main two challenges due to the lack of democracy and dynastic succession taking place with the political parties. But these political parties are responsible for these challenges. If they want to overcome on it, they can. but there is no willingness to come on these challenges. The third challenge, money and muscle power. Politics is a game of money and muscle. Always we listen to this sentence. An ordinary person, an ordinary man, always ignores, neglects to enter in the politics. If one said, "Are you are having knowledge about the politics, why you are not entering in the politics?" That time he answers there, "No, it is the game of money and muscle." So in the politics, if you want to enter in the politics, the money, you should be money and muscle, powerful. Arm power is a needing. The third challenge is about the growing role of money and muscle power in parties, especially during elections. When elections are there, in election it is needing to spend more money. Who is able to spend more money, he or she can get the ticket by the party. And he should be use the more power. Since parties are focused only on winning elections, because these parties always focuses or desires to win election, they tend to use shortcuts to win elections. They, they want to come in a power, they want to elect themselves. That is why, anyhow, anyway, they want to come elect them. They tend to nominate those candidates who have or can raise lots of money. The party gives tickets that person who is able to raise lot money. Rich people and companies who give funds to the party tends to have influence on the political decisions of the party. Sometimes some pressure groups are doing. Directly they will not enter in the politics, but these people, these groups provides money to raising funds for the political parties. When these political parties are coming in a government, they form that policies, they take that decisions which are favorable to these pressure groups or the businessmen. So power of money. The effect of money you will look here. In some cases, parties support criminals who can win election because party want to get elect more seats to make the government. Anyhow, money and muscle. Whoever he is having criminal, then also the party gives ticket to him or her. Democracies all over the world are worried about the increasing role of rich people and big companies in a democratic politics. Maybe they are worried, but it happens. It is not going to away. The fourth challenge, lack of meaningful choice to the voters. The candidates are imposed on the voters. The demand of voters is ignored. The voters are demanding some other candidate, but it is ignored, and party gives ticket to that person who can elect the in this election by using any mean, but they want that particular seat to win. The fourth challenge is that very often parties do not seem to offer a meaningful choice to the voters. In order to offer meaningful choice, parties must be significantly different. In recent years, there has been a decline in the ideological differences among parties in most parties of the world. The ideologies of many parties remain same. The leaders also remain same. In this election, these leaders remain in this party, and in election, when they comes to ask the vote, they come from with different symbol. So the choice to voter not remain. Whenever the person remain, whether in this party, whether in that party, the nature of that person is not going to change. Maybe the people don't like this one, but party is imposing like these candidates on them. For example, the differences between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party in Britain is very little. They agree on more fundamental aspects, but differ only in details on how policies are to be framed and implemented. In our country too, the differences among all the major parties on the economic policies have reduced. All the political parties in India also are in favor to bring the economical development, the policies. to secure the culture. Yes, everyone is saying the same, but what implementing? There is a big question. Those who want really different policies have no option available to them. Sometimes people cannot even elect very different leaders either because the same set of leaders keeps shifting from one party to another party. The group of leaders changes parties. This time in this election with this party, in next election with another party. Maybe in the third election they will form their separate group or maybe with another group. So the lack of meaningful choice to the voters. These are the four challenges to the political parties. How can be parties reformed? How to make changes on these challenges and how should bring the democracy in the parties. In order to face these challenges, political parties need to be reformed. It is needing to reform. The question is, are political parties willing to reform? But it depends on the political parties. If they are ready, then only the reforms can be take place. Otherwise, no. If they are willing, what has prevented them from reforming so far? If they would be will to do it, it would be happen in the earlier time only. It was not waiting to the other. If there are no willing, is it possible to force them to reform? Yes, it is possible. Through the constitution, through the different articles, we can make some reforms. Some reforms, not complete, but some reforms we can make. Citizens all over the world face this question. This is not a simple question to answer. In a democracy, the final decision is made by leaders who represent political parties. People can replace them, but only by another set of party leaders. If all of them do not wish to reform, how can anyone force them to change? Whichever party, all are same. If they are not ready to change, we cannot make any change there. But some changes are made by the Indian Constitution to prevent these misleads in the India. The constitution was amended in India, the first one. Anti-defection law. In November in Maharashtra, the election took place. That time might you observe there was many discussions about it. The MLAs are going to change the parties. But it is not easy to the MLA to change the parties because of this anti-defection law. May you heard also about the anti-defection law when Ajit Dada became the vice chief minister of the Maharashtra in the early morning. That day, this law was very focused in the news, anti-defection law. What is this? We will see. Anti-defection law. The MLAs or MPs cannot change their parties after the election. If they want to change the party before election, they can change. But after election, they cannot change the party because they came elected because of the symbols of the party, because of the reputation of the party. And afterward, after getting elected, to complete their desires, to complete their wills, to complete cash awards, to get the cash rewards, these people try to pressurize on the party. And if the party is not listening, that time they try to leave the party. It was happening in the earlier period. To stop it, the anti-defection law brought in the India with the amendment in the constitution. This is called anti-defection law. MLAs or MPs cannot change their parties after the election. This was done because many elected representatives were indulging means misusing of their position in defection in order to become minister or cash reward. They want to become a minister or cash reward. If it is these needs are not filling, these wish are not fulfilling, They were leaving the party. It was happening, but now it is not happening because of the anti-defection law. Next, affidavit. Affidavit is a document, it is a legal document where the person gives himself a sworn document statement about his personal information to the office, legal office it is happening. This is called affidavit. May you listen this word. Affidavit is the final statement of any person which is concerned as a legal. The Supreme Court passed an order to reduce the influence of money and criminal. The Supreme Court is trying here to reduce the influence of the muscles and the money. That is why it is made. Now it is mandatory to every candidate who contests elections to file an affidavit giving details of his property and criminal cases pending against him or her before election. When a candidate filling up his form nomination, that time he or she should give the affidavit about his property and criminal cases, both things. It is one try to stop the influence of money and power. But there is a lack again, but there is no system of check if the information given by the candidate is true or not. It is made compulsory, mandatory to give it, but the checking should be happen and it is not there. So how it is useful or not, we cannot state here. Next, steps taken by Election Commission. The Election Commission also taken some steps about the parties. The Election Commission passed an order making it necessary for political parties to hold their organizational elections and file their income tax returns. Now it is compulsory to all parties to take the internal elections for the positions and file their income tax from where the funds are raising and how you are using the funds. That income tax return should be submit file. These are compulsion made by the Election Commission. This is the way the government, the constitution, the Supreme Court, the Election Commission, all are trying to make the changes, overcome on the challenges. But that's are not enough. There are again more suggestions are needing to bring the reforms. What are the proposals or suggestions are suggested? We will see here. The first one, provision of state funding of elections. The main question about the political parties is needing more monies or the more funds. So with the different means, these people are raising these funds. Why they are raising these funds with the different means? Because there is no any formal way to get the funds. That is why they are using these wrong ways to raise the money. That is why it is the suggestion given here. Many people are in the opinion that with the purpose to check the misuse of money power, the money power should not dominating with the political parties or in the politics. That is why there should be provision of state funding, government funding. The government should give money for the election to the parties. This is the proposal given to stop the misuse of the money and muscles in the politics. Next, check on the misuse of official machinery. The Election Commission has given the following code of conduct. Code of conduct, set a principle, how to do, what to behave. This code of conduct is given by the Election Commission. It should be followed and it should be checked. The election should be held under the supervision of the caretaker government. The government is not in power, the government is just here as a caretaker. The minister should not be allowed to take part in the functions arranged with government expenditure in the period of election. Achar Sanhita, the term you have listened many times, or might you remember the Achar Sanhita. The code of conduct means Achar Sanhita. When this Achar Sanhita or code of conduct is working active that time, the ministers should not be allowed to take part in a function arranged with government expenditure. If the function is aided by the government, supported by the government, that should be not taken part by the any government leader or the minister. The minister should not be allowed to use government vehicles. This is also happening. Whether he is having any position in the country government, he or she is not allowed to use the government vehicle during the election period. This is about only during the election period when code of conduct, when Achar Sanhita is there. Next, proper revision of voters list. The voters list should be revised again and again with a particular time lag with a particular time schedule. The voters list should be revised at a regular intervals span of time, and names of the dead. If people are dead, the dead person's name should be not in the voters list because this is the misuse of the voting. Or bogus voters. Sometimes bogus voters or the dead person's names are there in the voters list. It should be deleted. It will be happen only when it will be revised with the periodical interval. Voters should be deleted from the list and name of the new eligible voters be included in this list. The old which are not available, which are dead person or which are bogus names are in the list, it should be deleted, and the new eligible voters name should be involved in the voters list. These reforms, these suggestions are given to make the reforms in the political parties. These are the tries to make all things good, proper in the democracy. But everything is depend on the people of the country. If people of country are willing to make the changes, it can be happen. If people are not willing to change, they are ignoring the all parts, then the wrong things remains continue and we just blames their political parties are responsible for it. The blaming is not enough. Working should be happen.